2023 was a really awesome year for games. We had tons of really cool stuff, especially from Nintendo, a lot of sort of remakes and remasters, also some great new games. Not just Nintendo, there's some other big releases, Baldur's Gate 3, Starfield, tons of indie games, stuff like that. Lots of video games, of which I played very few. So in an attempt to try to do some kind of top 10 games of the year thing, which I've never done and I've always wanted to do, I decided to put a little spin on this video. And the spin is going to be the top 10 games I wish I played in 2023, and a few that I actually did play, because I did manage to play a couple of them. So right off the bat, we're just going to go right down the list here, from 10 down to 1, and it's just going to be a mix of stuff I wish I played, and stuff that I actually did play. So unfortunately, there's more of the former rather than the latter, but let's do it anyway, okay. So number 10 is F-Zero 99, which is a game that I actually did play, and I have to say I really enjoyed. I'm not very good at F-Zero. I never really have been very good at F-Zero, to be quite honest with you. But it was really cool to see Nintendo return in some fashion to F-Zero, because it's a franchise of theirs that's been very neglected for a long time. I think the last proper F-Zero game we got was on the... Was it on the GameCube? It's been quite a while now, so it's a series that Nintendo has largely ignored, aside from little things like Captain Falcon being in Super Smash Brothers, and, you know, Mario Kart 8, we've got a few F-Zero tracks and whatnot. But this was a cool idea, F-Zero 99. I feel like this was a way that Nintendo was able to dip their toes back into the series. I love that they went with the Super Nintendo aesthetic, and it looks really cool on the Nintendo Switch. It was a cool idea, you know, they're going with this whole 99 thing, like Tetris 99, Pac-Man 99, and you have to kind of work your way up to actually being able to play with 99 people, but they do a really good job of kind of working you up to that, and it's really fun. Lots of vehicles, you know, lots of tracks. It's a great game, and I'm just really glad to see Nintendo return to the F-Zero series, and we'll see what they do in the future. Hopefully there's enough interest in the game that people continue to play it, and it piques Nintendo's interest in making another entry of the series. So, number 10 is F-Zero 99. Number 9 is another return to a classic, sort of neglected franchise of Nintendo's, and that's Advance Wars 1 and 2, the remake of that. So, I have not played this, and I wish I had played it, and, you know, full disclosure, I've never played the original Advance Wars, so I was actually very interested in this game. It got delayed for, I believe, because of the current war that's going on in Ukraine. I think Nintendo probably felt it was a little distasteful to release it when they had originally planned to release it, but it finally came out this year, and it looks really good. Like I said, Advance Wars is one of those, you know, franchises that is highly regarded by old school Nintendo fans, and it's a franchise that really hasn't been touched by Nintendo since the Game Boy Advance days, so to see it return's really cool. It looks like it's really good. It's a game that I really wanted to play because, like I said, I've just always wanted to try the series, and it's one I think I'll eventually pick up, but unfortunately didn't get to it this year. So number 9, Advance Wars 1 and 2. Number 8 is the first non-Nintendo entry on this list, and that is Sonic Superstars. Now, I know this has kind of gotten sort of lukewarm reviews by some people. Some people say it's really good. I have to say, graphically, I'm not really impressed. It's not really as good looking as something like Sonic Mania, but it doesn't look bad, and I'm more interested in the gameplay. It looks like it kind of goes back to that classic Sonic formula. It looks like a fun game, and I really wanted to try it. I am always down to go, call it nostalgia, whatever it is, but I always am attracted to, you know, classic Sonic, and Sonic Mania was definitely one of my favorite games in the last, you know, few years. I thought that was really well done. So Sonic Superstars looks like maybe a bit of a step down, but nonetheless the gameplay was intriguing enough that I wanted to try the game, and unfortunately I did not try it, but I'm sure it's one that I will try pretty soon, and gonna put it on my wish list, and hopefully the price will go down for it. So Sonic Superstars, that looks like a great game, and hopefully I can play that soon. Number 7 is Sea of Stars, which, man, this game looks really awesome. I just love the idea of this game. It's obviously a homage and really owes a lot to classic JRPGs of yesterday. And by yesterday, I mean many, many years ago. So, you know, there's a lot of people are comparing it to Chrono Trigger, but you can also see elements of, you know, Star Ocean and some of those other, you know, early Super Nintendo JRPGs. It looks gorgeous. The pixel art looks just fabulous. It looks like the gameplay kind of has a mix of, again, Chrono Trigger, that kind of like sort of, it almost actually has that sort of Breath of Fire, like top-down look to it in terms of the battle system. Looks great. It was a game that was definitely on my radar this year that I just didn't get a chance to play. This might be a little while because in terms of JRPGs, they're a little few and far between for me these days, just because they're such long games, and it's a lot to kind of play a game like that these days for me with how busy I am. But Sea of Stars looks excellent. I want to try it. I think I'll really love it. And yeah, number 7, Sea of Stars. Number 6, this was a big one that I really wish I had played this year, and I haven't, because it's one of my favorite games. Well, it's a remake of one of my favorite games, starting the whole remake trend here. And it's Resident Evil 4. I did not get a chance to play it. I've seen some footage of it. It looks awesome. It looks like they did a really, really good job remaking this game. I really enjoyed the remake of Resident Evil 2, which I streamed with my buddy Matt on this channel a couple years ago when it came out. And I never really played much of Resident Evil 3 or tried the remake, but Resident Evil 4 is my favorite Resident Evil, like a lot of other people. And I think it looks great. It looks like they're quite faithful to it, but they added a few things, which, just to spice it up, because, I mean, my God, we've gotten a million ports of Resident Evil 4 over the years, so it's cool to see them, do a few things differently with it. But it looks great. It got really, really good reviews, and again, I'm a huge Resident Evil 4 fan, so this is a big one that I wish I had played, but unfortunately didn't get to it. Okay, we're getting into the top 5. My number 5 is Starfield. Now, Starfield is probably the most, I suppose, polarizing game on this list. It seems like it's gotten quite mixed reviews, and then some people really like it, some people really hate it. They did an update, which sounds like it's been, again, sort of mixed reviews on that, how that's going. I've heard that it's better, as you go on in the game. I don't know. I love science fiction, and this is my kind of thing. I love the idea of Starfield, sort of like an open world thing. It doesn't seem like it's quite what people were expecting, but I've seen enough of it where I'm still intrigued, and I'm the kind of person where, whether it comes to games, movies, anything, I like to find out for myself, just how good the game is. So I'd really like to play it. I'm sure I will eventually get to it. It's, again, one of those huge looking games, which we'll see, if I play it anytime soon. If I manage to get it on sale or something, I'll try to maybe stream it. And maybe you guys can get like a genuine first reaction from me on the channel, which would be really cool. But again, it's a huge game. It's a lot. There's a lot of other games I want to play, so this one might be down the road a little bit. But I am intrigued enough where I think I would be into Starfield. So, enough to where I think it warrants being on this list. So Starfield is my number 5. Number 4 is a big fail for me in terms of not playing this because of how big of a fan I am of Nintendo and Zelda. But yeah, I did not play Tears of the Kingdom this year. So this is probably, of the games that I haven't played, the number 1 game this year that I wish I had played. I never finished Breath of the Wild, and I have a few little criticisms of Breath of the Wild, even though it is an amazing game. But Tears of the Kingdom looks really, really good. It looks like they improved upon a lot of things, that maybe I had some issues with Breath of the Wild. They added so much more to it. There's the sky world and the underground world, and the story looks really good. It looks a lot darker. I've seen very little, gameplay of this. I've watched a friend play a little bit of this game, and I've seen some stuff. So I like the whole mechanic of the game, of how you can kind of assemble things with just like various, you can make a boat out of some logs and some other stuff, that materials you find, or you could make like a platform. Like, I love that idea. Like, I think that's like a really cool mechanic that they added to Tears of the Kingdom, and overall it looks awesome. But it's, again, one of these enormous games, which it is not a criticism, I should say, on huge games like that in general. To me, it's just, for me personally, I have a hard time with huge games like that these days, just because of my lack of time with, you know, having kids and doing so many other things, including, you know, making videos and doing this channel. But Tears of the Kingdom is one I will eventually play. I would really like to play both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on this channel at some point, probably through streams, so that'll probably be the way that happens, but it's going to be a little while. I kind of want to go back to Breath of the Wild first and then play through Tears of the Kingdom, but it definitely looks awesome, and it's probably my #1 game that I wish I at least tried to play this year. Okay, so we're getting into the top 3. The top 3 are all games I actually have played this year. So yes, of these 10 games, I've only played 4 of them this year, so I know that sounds crazy, but, you know, I still wanted to do a list, and this, to me, like, I think there's other games I could have put on here that piqued my interest, but of, you know, everything that came out this year, these 3 were the 3 that I had to play, and I'm glad I was able to play them this year. So, number 3 is just coming in right before the new year. I managed to play some of this, and we streamed this on the channel. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which Rachel and I gifted to each other for Christmas, and we've been playing it a bit. And it is, as the title suggests, wonderful so far. I really love it. It's probably the most creative Mario game in many years. You know, the whole 2D platform, you know, thing really needed to be revamped, and they needed to do different things with it. And I love just like how weird this game is. I love all the playable characters. The levels are really interesting. You know, the character designs are even a little different. It's all been really awesome so far. I really have been enjoying it, and yeah, it's just such a super creative game, and I think Nintendo really knocked it out of the park with this game. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom and Super Mario Bros. Wonder were huge games this year for Nintendo, and it was cool. It almost harkens back to 2017 when the Switch first came out. I mean, we had Breath of the Wild, brand new Zelda game, and we had Mario Odyssey, so we had a brand new big Mario game. And now, like, it seems like in 2023, and sort of the twilight years of the Nintendo Switch, we're getting another huge year of great games. So, you know, I mean, and that's not even the other games, 2 of which will be in the top 2 here in a second. But it's really cool to see a game like Super Mario Bros. Wonder come out so late in the Switch's life. And, yeah, just such a fun, creative game, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, the last 2 games nobody's going to be surprised with. Number 2 is Metroid Prime Remastered. I went on a little journey this year, early in the year, because when it came out, the physical copies were a little hard to find for some reason. I think it just sold better than Nintendo thought, you know, they were going to. So I actually went all over the place around here looking for Metroid Prime every day after work, and I found it at a Best Buy, which was really cool. I have been playing it. Very slowly. I'm probably about halfway through the game, maybe a little further. And it's been like a slow burn, but I really enjoyed it. Metroid Prime is a masterpiece. And you know, I have to admit, when they first revealed it at the Nintendo Direct, I was watching it on my phone. I was a little disappointed because I was like, oh man, this is just you know, it's only the first Metroid Prime. I was hoping for the whole trilogy. And then, you know, my good buddy James Bacon Mob, who's been on this channel, pointed out to me, it's like, no, this looks like a remake. And then I rewatched it on my computer, and I saw just how amazingly they remastered the game. I mean, by all rights, it's really it's like a step away from a remake. So it looks gorgeous. It plays wonderfully on the Switch. It looks like the game was made for the Nintendo Switch. It's got me really hyped for potentially Metroid Prime 4. And hopefully they remaster the other 2 games in the series for the Switch. That would be great. And, you know, I mean, Metroid's in a renaissance right now. I did a video last year about that, and I'm riding the wave, man. Metroid is probably, it's at least top 2 or 3 series for me. And to see it doing so well recently is just wonderful. And the Metroid Prime Remaster has been chef's kiss. So, yeah, number 2. Metroid Prime Remastered. And of course, number 1 is not going to surprise anybody, I think, at all, if you know me. It's Super Mario RPG, which I'm currently playing, still working on. I'm probably about 75% through that. Again, games like that, I like a slow burn so I can really enjoy it. I love everything about this remake. I mean, it's basically a shot-for-shot remake of Super Mario RPG, my favorite game of all time. I love everything. I mean, is it 100% perfect? No, but to me, it's great to see this game come back, and it's now in the forefront of everybody's minds, and people are playing it for the first time. People like me are replaying it. There's people who haven't played the original game in years and now finally are getting to play the remaster, the remake. And it's doing really well, which I'm really happy about. I love some of the new things they added, such as the triple moves, kind of like taking a little nod to Chrono Trigger there, I think, and you get these cool flashy moves they do. It's such a quirky, funny game. Graphically, I think they did a really good job with it. I like the graphics. It's such a joy to return to that wonderful world of Super Mario RPG that I love so much. And it's a dream come true, really it is. Again, I did a video on that as well. I've wanted a Super Mario RPG remake or a return to the world or the characters like Mallow and Geno for literally 2 decades. And to see it finally happening, especially after all the Geno for Smash thing and whatever, I'm just so overjoyed about it that, can't really complain. Super Mario RPG Remake is my #1 game this year. I'm glad I got to play it. And I hope everybody who's played it has enjoyed it, and who knows, maybe there'll be a return to that world again in the near future. That would be awesome. So that is my top 10 games I wish I had played this year, and a few that I actually did play. So, interesting take on this. Am I a plebeian for not playing very many games this year? Tell me in the comments below. I don't know. It seems like it was just such a wonderful year for video games, and like the last several years, there's a lot I wish I had played. It's almost too much. Like, I feel that way with a lot of media, games, movies, music, TV shows, all this stuff. There's just so much and only so much time. And, again, I wish I had played more of this stuff this year, but the games I played I really enjoyed, and I'm sure I will eventually visit most of, if not all of these games at some point. So hopefully maybe I'll be, streaming some of these in the new year. I would love to do that, and who knows. But until then, thank you everybody who watched this. What were your top 10 games of this year? Did you actually play 10 games this year, unlike myself? Or if you are like me and you don't have a lot of time and maybe you didn't, what 10 games do you wish you played? Let me know in the comments below, and if you could, I'd really appreciate subscribing and checking out the Discord if you want to get a little deeper into what this channel's about. Until next time, have a good one, everybody. Peace.